You said continuation of theology.
Yes.
I'm assuming you're talking about the theology that Jesus and his disciples preached.
Yeah, posed and then exemplified by the early church.
Okay, so here's the main issue that you Christians have.
Yes.
You cannot prove that the Bible properly carries on the theology of Jesus.
In what sense?
Well, the argument that Muslims have against Christianity is that.
Well, because you're saying Muslim as if it's a third-person perspective. So, what position do you hold to?
I'm Muslim.
Oh, okay. So you're a Muslim. That's good. That's good to know.
Yeah. So the argument we have is that the Bible has lost a lot of Jesus' messages, and people have added in and taken out things.
Absolutely.
The fact that there's different versions of the Bible with different books.
Well, not to confuse versions with with completeness. So what I mean by this is when we spoke about different canons of the Bible, we're just going to say that, for example, me as an Eastern Orthodox that holds to 78 books in the canon of the Bible, if I were to go to a Protestant with the 66 books, those 66 books to which I share in common with a Protestant is going to be identical in my canon to which I possess those 66 books. So they're going to be identical but not complete.
But that's still a different version.
No, it's not version.
As I just said,
so think about this. 70. One second.
Hold
on, 1 second. So think of canon as completeness. So let's say I have 100% of the canon.
No. That's what you want to think of.
No. Rather, I'm giving justification and rationale. So they hold to an identical.
That's the way you want to think about it. That's
exactly. So
you can't force me to think about it.
If I pose something to you, you either have to negate it as not being the case.
I'm the one who posed it to you that the Bible's a different version. So this is my argument
exactly.
Here.
So when you say versions, firstly, I can identify that if we hold to this so-called logic, it's going to really bite Islam in the backside, as it were. So
the different Bibles has nothing to do with Islam.
Well, exactly. So I'm going to bring that up afterwards, after I resolve the issues to which you've posed within Christianity. So different things. Firstly, canons. Canons is just going to be understood as the completeness of the collection of scripture.
That's how you understand
Bible,
it.
Hold on 1 second. Bible within the Latin word just means collection of books. So a collection of books, there's going to be a level of completeness of these collection of books, right?
Yeah.
So if there's 66 books within the Protestant canon, to which I hold to all those 66 books, they're going to hold to a level of incompleteness to their Bible, but they hold to identical books within their Bible.
Which one is older?
My canon.
So then my point is right that the Protestant book has books that have been taken out of it.
Exactly, but it's an incomplete canon. It's an incomplete canon.
So things have been taken out of the Bible.
Yes.
That's my point. You try to argue against
exactly.
It. We can't. So why did you waste 2 minutes?
It's not versions, rather completeness. And rather than saying that there's corruption, that there's books been removed, these books, firstly by the Reformers, were held in high regard. They just didn't hold them to be divinely inspired as to a degree as the previous canon. Like, for example, you would see Reformers like Martin Luther reading from 2nd Maccabees. So we still see within the Reformed theology people taking from these books and reading as historical evidence towards the fact of these prophets. Secondly,
so why is it that
of course,
one
second. Secondly, of course, I disagree with a Protestant. I flat out reject that they have the fullness of the faith. So why exactly is it a sequitur for you to pose that different people exegete or take from a different Bible than myself?
Me?
Yeah, what exactly?
No.
What exactly is the argument?
So you're doing a straw man argument. I never said I'm taking from their Bible or their exegesis. I'm just pointing out the fact that different Bibles have different amount of books.
What does that prove?
Which means there's been alteration.
No, it doesn't. So, for example, if I were to
What's your name?
just call me Bob.
Bob. Oh, you're another Bob. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So let's say right now. Yeah. I copy down the Quran right now, but then I remove a few surahs.
That's an alteration.
Exactly. But is it the alteration within Islam? Because I'm not a Muslim. I'm not transmitting.
I never said it was an alteration within Christianity.
Exactly.
I'm focusing mainly on the book itself.
So the contention is really going to be, has the Christian tradition successfully upheld and the preservation of the text itself?
No.
Pose me the argument.
No. As I said, even if your book is the oldest, which I'm not arguing against,
yes,
which even if it is true that all of the books should be there,
yes,
which I'm not arguing against, my main argument is there's no way of you proving that the teachings of Jesus have been carried on into the
Absolutely, I can. So, for example, we see the early patristics talking of Christ, and these are going to be students of the apostles of Christ themselves. So, for example, very famously, within Revelation 8, it talks about people that bear witness to the faith, right? And one of the people identified as the one sent to the churches is Polycarp. Polycarp is a student of John himself, the beloved disciple. And in his writings, in his 12 letters and epistles, he references John's work. For example, it says, we do not
So your source is a student of a student?
A student of John, who is a student of Christ, correct.
So the student of a student?
Yes.
That's your source?
Yes.
Very weak argument.
Well, what's exactly weak with that?
Look, here's the thing. If I was to pose the same argument to you, that you have Abu Bakr,
yes,
right, who is a student of Muhammad, right, and then you have, let's say, for example, a guy named Ahmed, who's a student of Abu Bakr,
yes,
right, and I said, well, Ahmed wrote that Abu Bakr said X, Y, Z. You wouldn't take that as a valid
I don't deny Hadith science as a principle, not sound science. I disagree with that. Rather, I would say because I reject the premise that Muhammad is a prophet of God. Any events.
He's a prophet. It's easily provable.
Can I demonstrate that he's not a prophet then?
Go ahead.
Okay, so premise one. In order for a prophet to be within a prophetic tradition, this prophet must confess an identical God to the previous prophets, i.e.
Which he did.
Yes, good. Premise two. In order, it is entailed that if a prophet's message is true, the prophethood of that person must also therefore be true. The Quran is true, therefore Muhammad is true, right?
Yeah, okay.
Right. Premise three, we cannot use the Quran to demonstrate Muhammad is a true prophet, and then you therefore use Muhammad to demonstrate the Quran. Is it circular reasoning?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, conclusion one, there must be an independent way of verifying continuity with Muhammad as a previous prophet. Is if we agree within premise one, it is a necessary precondition of being a true prophet to possess continuity.
You just stepped on your own toe. You know, I have a very funny saying when I argue with Christians.
Yes.
Is that Christians become atheists when they argue against Muslims.
Well, hold on.
End up shooting yourself in the foot.
Do you agree that Christianity has more holes than Swiss cheese, for example?
Say it again?
Do you agree that Christianity has more holes than Swiss cheese? It's got so many contradictions, it's not preserved at all.
It does.
Okay, beautiful. So if that's the case, for you to say that, oh, you have the issue in Christianity, and you're posing the same issue within Islam, therefore it's a non sequitur. That's called a tu quoque, my friend.
That's not what I said.
So if you've agreed to the first three premises, the conclusion therefore follows that we must find an independent source to verify the continuity of Muhammad in order for the Quran to be true.
No, the Quran is an independent source.
Okay, so can I produce a reductio for why I believe an inductive case for the Quran to be true? I.e., if you're going to say, if you're going to use if you use a dependent source, i.e., the Quran, which is of Muhammad, to prove Muhammad's a true prophet.
You relayed the information of the Quran.
Yeah. So if you use miracles, for example, it's just going to allow that other religions are therefore true.
I'm not using miracles.
Okay, so what exactly are you using to deduce that the Quran is of God?
Information from the Quran, which at the time, no one could have known or verified.
How does this not equally prove, for example, that an angel or a Satan gives this message?
Because, okay, as a Christian, would you agree that only God can see the future?
Well, rather, I
actually a very simple question. Don't go on a rant.
So I believe that this is a loaded question, not analogous to what
No. Okay, do you believe that only God is all powerful?
Yes.
Okay, was that a loaded question or was that simply a
so rather, when it comes to
you rant a bit too much.
Okay, so rather with knowledge, for example.
It's a simple yes or no question.
So with knowledge.
Okay.
Hold on.
Bob,
so it's not if I introduce an intermediate.
Bob, you rant a bit too much. That's the only issue.
Okay,
You're a very smart guy, but you rant too much.
Okay.
You answered my question earlier, right?
Yeah.
A while ago. Is only God all powerful?
Correct.
Yes, it's not a loaded question.
Correct.
Can only God see the future?
Not really. So what I mean by this.
Nice day,
so what I mean by this is that Satan.
Look. In order for us to go ahead, you have to actually answer the questions and not go off on
Do you know what a false dichotomy is?
Go ahead, Bob. Explain it to me.
So I believe.
What's that around your neck, by the way?
It's a rosary. And these are icons.
You believe Jesus died on the cross, right?
Yes.
So you're walking around with his murder weapon.
Exactly, because I believe that according to Luke chapter 20, he was a humble servant that died for a wager for us all.
So you're walking around with his murder weapon.
Exactly, I should. So are you going to divot the conversation to why I hold and venerate the cross?
I'm just giving you a taste of your own medicine of how you go off on tangents.
I don't go on tangents. Rather, I'm staying on the subject matter.
Can only God see at 100% the future?
I can give you an argument for why Satan has this ability.
Go ahead.
So premise one, Satan is atemporal or is not visible to us. Do you agree?
I agree.
Premise two, Satan to a degree can tempt us. Do you agree?
I agree.
Okay, so conclusion, therefore, Satan can operate and tempt us into doing things to which, therefore, he can prophesize events to which, therefore, he can make sure can happen.
You're waffling, bro.
I'm not waffling. Okay,
No,
address.
no,
What did I say? What did I say?
Let me rebuttal.
Do you know what a syllogism is?
Let me rebuttal.
Yes.
Are you going to actually allow people to rebuttal?
Of course.
Okay, my rebuttal to that is this.
Yes.
What you just explained is extremely intelligent planning and foresight. That's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you if God has foresight.
But like when you say...
Let me answer, Bob.
Yes.
I didn't ask you if God has foresight. I asked you if only God can see the future.
But no, but with prophecies, they are posed... Oh, okay.
If you're not able to have a simple dialogue, we're answering a
simple
question.
Dialogue on religion. So is religion simple?
Can only God...
Is religion simple?
I believe it should. Us humans make it complicated.
Wait, okay, so...
By nature, it is simple.
What exactly is the argument for religion being simple? Because I don't even believe that Allah is... You don't even, as a Sunni Muslim, I suppose, you don't even believe that God is ontologically simple. You believe that he's composed of parts.
No, we don't.
Okay, do you affirm DS? Divine simplicity. Quick tangent. You don't affirm...
Well, you just said we believe that God is composed of parts. I've heard that dumb argument before.
Yeah, so rather...
Present your argument of why he's
okay, so
I
can... Okay, how about this? We'll argue about this in a moment. But to say that you reject divine simplicity, ironically, therefore shows...
I never said I rejected anything.
Did you accept divine simplicity?
Listen, you want a yes or no question? Oh, that's a loaded question, Bob.
Well, rather you do or you don't. Well, it's a true dichotomy.
You see how it feels?
It's a true dichotomy. You affirm that you reject as a Sunni Muslim that God's ontology is going to be simple.
Do you accept or reject that only God can see the future with 100% accuracy? I'm not talking about foresight or extreme intelligence.
So I believe that what the Quran would posit as prophecy...
I didn't ask you about the Quran.
Okay.
I'm not asking you about specific religion.
So I believe that
God in general.
Okay, so I believe that we can say that, for example, angels can possess knowledge of the future. So I don't entirely reject...
That's not what I asked you.
Yeah, you said God exclusively.
I didn't say possess knowledge of the future.
Yes.
Technically speaking, prophets possess knowledge of the future,
okay, so
God tells them. That's not what I asked you.
Okay,
Listen to me, Bob. Can only God see the future with 100% accuracy?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for answering that. So it brings us back to the question when you asked me to prove that that Muhammad is actually a prophet.
Yes.
Right? You see, we're making way now.
Yes.
Okay, you finally answered the question. So to prove it using the Quran.
Yes.
Correct? So there's things in the Quran that was said that at the time they could not verify, and no other people. I could say it's impossible to have known that.
Like what?
The universe expanding.
Okay, so I believe that firstly the Quran explains about the beginning of the universe.
I never said the beginning of the universe.
Well,
the universe
hold on. Because in order to say that the Quran is correct on science, if there's a proposition within the Quran that contradicts this notion, it therefore removes the possibility that this agent is all-knowing or all truthful or all good.
Brother, I said something very simple. The universe expanding. Stop waffling.
So
what's your rebuttal to the universe expanding?
Well,
1,500 years ago.
2 points. 2 points. So one. This again, you said foresight or being more aware of. Okay, so let's say. Well, one second. Let's say, for example, that Satan possesses more knowledge than humans at the time of 7th century Arabia because he was able to experience he would have had a knowledge of how the world was created, right? Okay. So if you agree to this, therefore an inductive case that because this verse in the Quran was supposedly unknown to people, which I can argue is not ultimately the case, to the people at 7th century Arabia...
You just said it was unknowingly not the case? Who knew about it?
Yes, 1 second. I'll get back to that in a moment because my first point is that this case can also prove that this is from Satan. Why? Because Satan would have had knowledge of the universe expanding. Okay,
so then basically all knowledge of the world given to any prophet could have been from Satan.
Exactly.
So
exactly. It's a reductio for an inductive case to be true of the Quran.
So you shoot yourself in the foot with
exactly. Yeah. To quote Quay, fine. So an inductive case for the Quran to be of God does not demonstrate that Muhammad is a true prophet. Why? Because it leads to absurdity. It demonstrates that the Quran can also be provided as an argument towards the agent giving the Quran, can be from Satan or be from an angel, because Satan, like you conceded in your conception of Satan, had knowledge of the universe expanding. Secondly, I believe there's going to be propositions.
I never said Satan have knowledge of the universe expanding.
Wait,
Well, you're answering your own.
Okay, does Satan possess? Yes, you did, and we can look at the recording in a moment.
I don't know what knowledge Satan has. Okay, I have no way of analyzing Satan's knowledge.
So Satan, did he not yet prostrate to, he was told to prostrate towards Adam, right?
Correct.
Okay, and Adam is within the Garden of Eve.
How does that tie into the universe?
It ties in that if Satan lives longer than humans, he possesses more knowledge of humans, therefore extraordinary knowledge that someone in 7th century Arabia would have not been able to possess. This inductive case can be proven that this is also of Satan.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it opens the possibility, but it doesn't prove
exactly. That it is. Inductive cases are possibilities. You're arguing premise one. The Quran possesses knowledge.
Wait. Possibilities doesn't mean that it's certain.
Yeah, exactly. You're posing a possibility. This isn't inductive.
No. You pose a possibility.
This is exactly your argument.
In order for us to have back and
your
forth,
argument is inductive. Your argument's inductive.
Okay, whatever. Listen.
Your argument doesn't.
My argument is this.
Yes.
Can you just relax a bit?
Yes.
You're a bit too,
Yes.
My argument was this: the universe expanding
is
something that no one had could verify at the time, and most humans were not thinking of. So that is my argument, that it came from a being.
Yeah.
Which we call God, right?
That's a,
your rebuttal was. Your rebuttal was.
Can you not agree, firstly, that this is an argument on probability?
Brother, can you relax, please?
No. So what is the nature?
Brother, can you relax?
What is the nature of your argument? So
just relax. Brother, just
what
relax.
Is the nature of your argument?
Your rebuttal was that Satan he's lived since XY amount of time. So he has extreme knowledge, extreme intelligence, more than other human beings, which I agree. He possesses a massive amount of knowledge, right? However, that does not mean just because Satan has more knowledge than humans, that definitely means that Satan provided Muhammad with this information.
Hold on. So you cannot. This argument for this being of God is a probabilistic argument. It's not a epistemic certainty.
Do you have a would you say you're well educated in science?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're well educated in science.
And I believe that the Quran is not scientific.
Look, brother, relax. You're well educated in science.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Brother, the sun is hot. Sorry? The sun is hot. Yeah. Right? I am okay. I have an okay level of education in science. He has more. I would guess that he has more education in science than I do. Okay. I just told you the sun is hot.
It's not conceding that this argument is probabilistic.
Does that mean that the person that has more education told me that to tell you?
Well, of course, it's a probabilistic argument of source criticism. I don't know but hold on, you understand that your argument is a massive. You're appealing to the audience. So, but my issue is your argument for the Quran to be true is an inductive argument. It's a probabilistic argument. It's a logical leap to say there's a certainty that Allah gave this message because of unlearned knowledge.
This guy can't relax. So look, I brought up an argument, right? He said to prove that Muhammad is a prophet. I said he was given information. Yeah, I think he's on. I said he was given information.
Well, we could talk about why I believe Muhammad's a false prophet afterwards.
Right? I said the universe.
Oh, why not? Because I heard you've been talking about me behind the camera. So if you want to speak on me behind the camera, happily. So here's the thing. Your argument is not certain. It's a probabilistic argument. It's to say that there's going to be properties which could suffice revelation from God.
I'll tell you what.
Therefore, it is from God.
Bob, I'll tell you what. The next time you think of debating, stay at home and look in the mirror because you just love talking to yourself.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
Yeah. So very simply, the reason why I was interrupting him is because he failed to see what nature of the argument he was posing. It was an inductive case. It is a probabilistic argument that there are properties of God's revelation which could be sufficed within the Quran. Now, to save this, I could use a reductio and say that this argument can pose that the Quran is also from Satan or also from an angel. So you don't know the argument that you're posing. If the argument that it has to be from God because of this information within the Quran, that is a massive logical leap, and you're just assuming that it can be exclusively from God. That would be a deductive case, not an inductive case. Well done.
Okay, Bob, I'll tell you what. I can engage with you if you suddenly gain the capability to have an actual back and forth dialogue.
If you concede,
this guy can't even let me finish the sentence.
You did finish.
You can make your point after letting him.
No. Firstly,
I agree with you.
Yes.
But I think you can let him.
So my issue with that is that if you're not going to actually consume the knowledge that I'm saying, that firstly, this argument's going to be inductive. It's not going to pose a certainty. And he's not going to listen in the case of that you're going to have to concede that the Quran poses an equal possibility that it's also from Satan. Now, I can concede that I have... well, I'm not going to say that.
I agree.
I'm rather going to say...
Listen to him and also
absolutely. And I'll concede that I'm always absolutely rude as well. But this is the third time within our conversation that...
He's concede I'm absolutely rude. I love this guy.
But also, listen, this is the third time within my conversation that he's accused me of either LARPing and yapping and then leaving because I'm speaking too much. And also him not being familiar with his position and not even saying if either he holds to divine simplicity. Because holding to divine simplicity, is this going to be the case that then he does not believe that religion is therefore going to be simple? It's complex because his God is ontologically complex.
Well, absolutely, we can't comprehend.
So, again, I concede this to these gentlemen here. I have no idea what their position is. I'm absolutely rude. I need to have manners. I'm just so passionate in dialoguing with it.
You can be blunt, that is direct and sincere to the point, no filter.
Exactly.
What's wrong with that?
I think you can let him speak and then he can counter his argument.
Yes, like, I allow him to speak.
I literally didn't say anything against him.
I don't. Yeah. Here's the thing, boys. I really don't like when people are intentionally not going to actually answer my question and instead say, well, you're just posing a probabilistic argument. Of course, that's the nature of your argument. I get irritated when people don't actually understand the things that they're saying. Yeah, well, I don't know who your boys' names are. What's your names? Marco. And what?
Theon.
And Theon. Okay, good to see you, gents. Oh yeah, I forgot to shake your hand. Right. Well, that's the continuity argument I've tried to pose against Islam. And again, I may have seemed a bit aggravated, but I don't like and I get irritated when people don't listen. So, God bless.